Alright, and so now we are on to the next problem. So you were told that 2 to the power of 2x is equal to 3, and now the problem wants you to find 4 to the power of 6x minus 5. Now you can't use a calculator on this because we're not allowed to use the calculators on the test. Obviously, everyone's first thought is going to be to find what x is in this equation, or to simplify this equation, find x. If you do that, you're going to get a number that is just not possible to do by hand. You're going to need a calculator for that. So we're going to do another approach. Instead of finding x, we're actually going to use substitution. We're going to try and get this formula, at least part of this formula, or the equation, sorry, to equal 2 to the power of 2x, because when that occurs, we can just plug in 3 for that part in this equation. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. First off, we want to isolate this exponent, so it's just the 6x. We don't want the minus 5 because it's easier to work with if that's the case. So there's a logarithm rule that basically allows you to do this. Basically, you can take the first part of that subtraction, put that on top, and then divide by 4 to the power of 5 and put that on the bottom. Again, just make sure you're familiar with these. This is actually an exponential rule, so make sure you're familiar with those because that's why we're allowed to do this. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to try and get this top part, because this is the part that has x, to equal 2 to the power of 2x. So we're going to change the base of this to be 2 to the power of 2, because that equals 4. 2 to the power of 2 is equal to 4, times 6x, because we just got to make sure that we don't lose this exponent. And we can just bring down the denominator. We don't have to change that. So now we can just rewrite this as 2 to the power of 2x times 6. That still equals the same thing, or 4 over 5. 4 to the power of 5. And so now we have 2 to the power of 2x, which is the same exact thing we have here, 2 to the power of 2x. And we can just plug in 3 for that part. So this becomes 3 to the power of 6 over 4 to the power of 5. And from here, it's going to be a lot of multiplication if you do it by hand, but this is definitely something possible to do by hand, unlike what would have happened if we plugged in x. So we're going to get the final answer for this. If you just find the exponents on these, then it's just going to be 729 over 1024, and that should be an option.